Hi, and welcome to the SaVeg podcast.
I'm Rose, also known as Cheap Lazy Vegan on YouTube.
And I'm Daniel, one of your favorite guest stars on Cheap Lazy Vegan's YouTube channel.
We're two friends who love to talk about the latest trending topics.
So get comfortable and join us while we give our SaVeg take on just about everything.
You are currently listening to the previous episode of this podcast, but if you would like to listen to this week's episode and get some exclusive content, go over to patreon.com/thesavagepodcast. Hi guys, what's up?
Hello, everyone.
Welcome to another episode.
Yes,
As you can see, we have a new studio. Which is just a little bit away from the previous studio, which is just right there.
You can see the map, kind
Yes.
of, if I haven't cut it out of the video. We like to shift, we're just kind of moving to different areas of my apartment. Apparently.
Well, first we started with moving to different areas of my apartment.
That's true, yeah.
And now we're moving to different areas of Daniel's apartment.
So, if you think about it, Rose, we've actually had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This will be our 6th area of recordation.
We had 6 studios.
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit, we be balling.
I know
we can pay for 6 studios.
Well, when you're one of the top listened podcasts on Spotify.
No, actually, I was listening to a podcast today.
Yeah.
And it wasn't I think I was watching a YouTube video, and then somebody was talking about podcasts and like how to make money on podcasts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then one of the things that he mentioned was like, if you have like 1,000 listens or 1,000 downloads per episode, then you're considered like one of the top, like, I can't remember what the number was, but it was like one of the top.
Really?
Yeah. So I don't think we have 1,000, do we?
I think we have over 1,000 listeners for sure.
Do we have over 1,000 listeners? Okay. I have no idea how many listeners we have. But love you guys all.
Yeah.
But, are we allowed to talk about the number of listeners?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't see why not.
But I think we're one of the top, Daniel.
No, we're not one of the top. Okay,
no, I'm gonna look up statistics.
I know you need to look it up, but
buddy. Okay, let me, because the thing is, we could be one of the top because so many podcasts exist, right?
That's true.
Think about it, right?
Yeah.
So it's like when you think you're not rich, but then actually considering the entire world.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a good analogy.
It kind of makes sense, though. It kind of makes sense because you're right, because there are so many podcasts now. Like literally, there's like probably a bazillion.
Yeah. So obviously, we're not like top 1%, which is like Joe Rogan or whatever.
Yeah.
And then there's like it gets
Gets like different tiers
top
and different
podcast. I don't even know how to search this.
I know podcast stats are weird anyway.
Okay.
But anyway, guys, sorry.
He said something.
We digress.
All right, guys. So So coming to you from one of the top podcasts in the world.
Yes.
You guys are now listening to one of the top podcasts.
Top, I guess.
One of the top 50.
Top.
No, not top, like 50%. Top 50%.
Potentially, yeah. So that's kind of cool. I mean, we don't know.
Top 50% of podcasts in the world.
Damn, how we get there, I don't know. How we got there.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway.
Tell your friends, tell your family, guys.
Yes.
So today's story, which I found out as I was coming to this studio.
Yeah.
Breaking news.
It is breaking news. Like,
Mother of God.
This is pretty big news.
Guys, Bill Gates and his wife are divorcing after 27 years of marriage. I'm sure by tomorrow this is going to be like all over everywhere.
Yeah, it will be like...
It's already all over everywhere.
Yeah, it's been picked up. Like, there's already been an article on it. Like,
when did this come out?
He like tweeted, right? Like,
yeah.
He tweeted recently.
That was today.
So what are your thoughts on this?
Okay, so they've been married for 27 years. Like, to me,
That's almost our entire life.
Oh, Daniel, you be kind to yourself. You'd be 32 going on 33?
I do know that. So I would have been 5. So from my 5 years old and the rest of my life. So like a large percentage of our lives.
Yes.
Which is crazy.
The majority of our lifetime.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
To be with, like, this is what I don't understand. Like,
there's something we're missing.
Yeah. But I just get like, okay, I get why people get divorced, and it's like a very like common thing nowadays. People like splitting up, divorcing, and whatever. But when people are together for so long,
right?
I'm like,
it's crazy. They've built like a full life together
and an empire, like an empire, exactly, really like an empire. And I think to myself, I'm like, holy shit, you were together for 27 years. Like, how can you be with somebody for that long?
Yeah.
Because it wouldn't have been like all of a sudden, oh, I'm getting divorced. Like it would have been
Right.
something that happened over time, I guess.
Of course.
Right. So,
I don't know. Like I would love to sit down and talk to somebody that's been divorced after so long, because it is something that I would be curious about.
Yeah. Because I think like almost, and this is going to sound really bad, guys. Like don't take this the wrong way, but I'm almost like.
I feel like we say that at least one time in every episode.
We do. Yeah. When you've made it so far already with a marriage, it's almost like, you know.
What's the point?
Exactly. Like you really, you don't have like that much longer. Okay, that sounds really bad, guys.
I mean, I get what you're saying, though.
Yeah, like, how old is Bill Gates? Like in his 60s, probably, right?
I think he's definitely in his 60s. I think he was born. I think I just googled it. I think he was born in 1955.
Yeah,
which makes him about, I think, mid 60s.
Yeah.
But let me just double check just
I
to
guess
make sure.
There's two sides of this guy. So one side of me is like
he's 65. Yes.
Yeah, 65. So like, you've made it so far already, married. Like
yes.
You've gotten over the 5-year itch, the 7-year itch, or whatever it is.
Well, apparently there's a 27-year itch.
27-year itch. But I just I guess on the flip side as well, though, I guess if you're unhappy,
yes.
obviously this is the right move for you, as
yes.
a couple, and maybe they stayed together a bit longer than they should have because of everything that they built up together, and
exactly.
they felt that they needed to stay together for several reasons.
Yeah. I mean, we don't know the full story, right? So it could be that some people, they stay together for 10 years longer than they should have.
That's true.
Right? Some people will just stick it out because they're probably thinking the same thing. It's been already 17 years, what's the point now?
That's true.
And then they stick it out, and then they realize hey, this is just not working. So I mean, that can happen, I guess, at any point
in your marriage,
and even if you're older.
Yeah, that's true.
But that's crazy.
I know.
I don't know.
It's crazy because it's
my dude is 65 years old.
I know.
I mean, I think Melinda's a little bit younger, but
still. Can you imagine getting back on the dating market at 65? We're already having hard enough time as it is.
I think if you're Bill Gates, you'd have a little bit of an easier time.
Yeah, but then I think the issue would be if people want you for you or for your money.
Right. How do you even date as Bill Gates?
Well, that's another thing. How do you date?
Do you go on the dating app? Hi, I'm Bill Gates.
Hi. And then people will be like, you're definitely fit. What is it? Catfishing.
Catfishing.
You're definitely catfishing.
As Bill Gates?
Yeah.
There are celebrity dating apps. Did you know that?
Oh, I didn't know. Just for celebrities.
For people, you have to be invited on.
Oh, okay.
So they I can't remember what they're called, but there's one specific one where it's you have to be either a celebrity or.
I could see a pro in that because you'd be in the same space, but then a con would be already your market's going to be so much smaller.
Is it though? I mean, it's not going to be just A-list celebrity. It'll be just people that are kind of maybe in entertainment.
Yeah, and also probably high net worth individuals.
Sure.
People that are,
I mean, a lot of people are high net worth,
Yeah, there's quite a few, but I mean, are a lot of them single?
I don't know.
Maybe.
We'd have to go on this app
now.
We'd have to go on this app, Daniel.
That's true.
And
How do we get invited?
I think you have to be famous.
Oh, God.
I mean, we are one of the top 50% podcasts in the world.
So whoever, guys, if whoever's listening organizes the app.
An invite.
We would like invites.
Well, the thing is, though, if you are a celebrity or a top earner, you would probably want to swim in that pool anyways, right?
Yeah, probably.
So obviously, you're not going to be, you're not going to want to look for a commoner.
God damn, Rose.
Well, it's true.
That's true, I guess. I don't know.
Although there are some people that do, date regular people.
Yeah. I think it would bring obviously there's pros and cons to that, right?
Yes.
But I think just dating other celebrities seems to have its own issues. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure.
And I always say this, I've said this many times before, and I think actually it's not just in Hollywood, but I'm always relationships in Hollywood never seem to last. Not that Bill Gates and Melinda were a Hollywood, but they're kind of a bigger than life couple, right?
Yeah, they're they're not human.
Status, yeah.
Yeah.
And I do feel these couples generally in the media and the ones that are quite famous, they'd never seem to last. You know what I mean?
Or is it just the ones that we see? We notice the divorces more.
Yeah, I think that's probably it too.
Mm-hmm. Because you're not going to see the news. Bill Gates and Melinda Gates celebrate 27 years of marriage. You're not going to see that.
Yeah,
you only see if they're divorcing.
That's very true. And then also we have to remember all the regular people, the commoners.
We're commoners, Daniel.
Yeah, we are.
I mean, maybe if we get into the top 10 percentile of the podcast, we'll be not so commoners anymore.
Maybe if we get into the top 1%.
Oh, God damn.
That'd be amazing.
We'd be rolling with the Joe Rogans.
God dang. But I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, but with regular people as well, obviously they're also getting divorces a lot. Like,
Yes.
I think the stat nowadays is like 50% of people.
Yeah,
get
it is. I
divorced.
think it's been 50% for a while. I wonder if it's changed in the
Yeah.
last few bit.
If it's like increased or.
I've heard
Or
that it did
decreased.
decrease a little bit.
But would it, you know what, the reason why I think it could potentially decrease is people, because of that high stat and because of seeing all these divorces, people have become more reluctant to get married right away.
No, I don't think that's because I do think people are reluctant to get married, but I don't think it's because of the 50% failure rate, because people are still like very optimistic. This is the funny thing about marriage is even though there's a 50% failure rate,
Yeah.
people are still wanting to get married, you know,
Yeah.
it's a thing. But I think it's because people are getting married later in life. Whereas I think a long time ago, people got married at
In
a
their
very young
20s.
age.
Yeah.
So obviously when you're, what do they call it? The prefrontal cortex before it's developed. I think like it takes like you're
Up until
25
yeah.
or something.
Yeah, 20. I think it's 25 or 26.
So
something
yeah,
like
like
this.
if you're getting married in your early 20s, like you're not even fully mature enough to make that decision.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, I think they're more likely to divorce when you get married at a younger age.
That's
I think
true.
there's like statistics behind this.
I bet you there's stats
Yes.
behind it because that would make sense to me.
Yeah. So
'Cause-
now people are getting married when they're like 30 something
Yeah.
or late 20s, which makes I think the divorce rate go down a little bit.
Yeah, that would actually make sense because you're right. Like, think about even ourselves and how much we've changed since our 20s.
Have we though, Daniels?
Well, some of us more
Maybe
than
not our
others.
maturity level.
Damn. But I know, like, yeah, like we've also changed. I think if I would have met somebody when I was like 20 per se,
Oh God, no.
got married at 22,
Right?
and now I'm like 32. God damn.
I know. God
going on
damn.
33.
Oh my God, it'd be your birthday soon.
Yeah,
Next
goddamn.
month.
You gonna do something special for me?
We gonna do something special. I'll get you some A&W.
Yes. You fat shaming me?
No, it's supposed to be. Is that a fat joke?
Oh yeah, is that a fat joke? But I keep losing my train of thought.
I don't know.
Roses.
God damn, Daniel, what's be wrong with your brain
I
today?
don't know. It's because I went for a run, guys, just now, and I think maybe my brain's just I left
It's
it
still
behind.
coming down?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's still catching up with the rest of me.
So, what do we think about this divorce?
I
It'd
think
be cray cray.
I don't.
They
think,
have 3 children together, apparently.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure they're grown ass adults now, but like also that's another thing. It's like, God damn, like imagine your parents divorcing after
God.
you've become an adult.
And I think it's crazy too if your parents have been together for so long,
Right?
your whole life.
And you've managed that family dynamic.
Yeah, and then they're getting divorced, and you're just like, oh God, like.
That is great. Like the thing is, that's crazy because it's like divorces are so hard, right?
Yeah.
They're already hard enough, but then after 27 years of like literally building your life together, building a fucking foundation,
Yeah.
building your entire like fortune and like wealth and everything together, and now you just have to split it.
Yeah. And do you think though for like the kids, it's actually a bit easier on them when you're an adult?
Actually, yeah. Now that
Yeah.
I think about it, for the last 2 seconds,
Yeah.
it would probably. I mean, it's still like I'm sure it's still traumatizing.
Of course, it'd still be hard. Like no one wants their parents to divorce.
Exactly.
Right?
But you know, when you're an adult, you understand things a little bit better.
Exactly.
And you can probably empathize a little bit more with your parents. And I think if you're a child or a teenager, that would be really tough, like going
Yeah.
through that kind of thing.
Definitely.
Uh-huh.
I think it traumatizes kids more when they're younger.
Oh, for sure.
So, but in the long run, people often say like it's better for the kids if the parents are not working together.
Yeah.
It's better for the parents to get divorced, even if the kids are young.
Yeah,
because it'll be
for
a
sure.
better dynamic for those kids than growing up in a household of like
Right.
a lot of conflict.
Yeah, for sure.
But you know, this brings about another question that I would wanted to pose to you, Rose.
Oh.
Because I know you've been listening to a lot of like alternative lifestyle podcasts. Do you know where I'm going with this?
Monogamy?
Yeah.
We gonna talk about monogamy? Well, you know, I was gonna bring it up, but I didn't want to know. I didn't know if it was appropriate for this conversation.
Why is it not appropriate? It's perfectly
I
appropriate.
don't know because I always bring up this. Okay, so guys, I've been listening to this podcast.
that Rose is obsessed with.
But okay, to be fair, I've been reading up and listening to different people about monogamy for longer than I've been listening to this podcast.
Yeah.
So the podcast is called SaVeg Love,
Ooh.
and it's this dude named Dan Savage who is a gay I don't know if he would describe himself as a polygamous man, but I get like he's not monogamous, I don't think.
Yeah, like him and his partner like are
Yeah,
swingers and
exactly. So
do whatever.
he has like a kind of an open sort of relationship, I think. Anyways, he's married. He definitely has a partner, like a lifelong partner, but they have like, you know, outside of marriage affairs,
Yeah.
if you will. And it's like a, agreement amongst the two of them. And the thing is, I've seen him talk about this topic before I started listening to this podcast. So I've seen him talk about, the concept of monogamy and how it doesn't work for everybody. It works for some people.
But sometimes it doesn't.
And humans, this might be controversial, but humans are actually not naturally monogamous. I mean, it shouldn't be controversial. It's kind of obvious.
Yeah. Because when you think of the concept of monogamy, if you look at, like at the root of what we are as individuals, like we are animals. We're a species of animal. And most animals in the wild aren't monogamous. Like
that's the thing.
Very few of them. There's a few, and most of them are birds that like end up mating for life. And even those like, so it's not as many, and especially like mammals. I don't think there's like very, very few that are completely monogamous. And, so it's almost like the question that I always have is I wonder if that's something that we've kind of constructed as a society.
We have 100%. I mean, why do we have something called marriage where you have to like literally prove in front of people that you're going to be together forever? And even then, even after all of that legal proof, legal signing of documents, fucking merging of assets, complication after complication, even after all of that, still 50% end in divorce. If we were monogamous,
as we see.
Exactly. And if we were monogamous creatures by nature, then we wouldn't even need the concept of
very
marriage.
True. Actually, that's a very good point. If it was like innate in our primal behavior, we wouldn't cheat, because those animals that are
even the cheating aspect as well.
Exactly. Like cheating's a whole nother ball game. But like those animals that mate for life, like those birds and stuff. I mean, I might be going off on a limb because I don't know too much about it, but I don't think that they cheat. They're like with their partner.
No, well, when I was in the Serengeti, I remember there was one bird. I can't remember the name of the bird, but the guide said, basically, he pointed to the bird and said, these birds are monogamous and they have one partner for their entire life. Yeah. And if one of them dies, the other one commits suicide.
Oh my God.
Yeah. That's how monogamous they are.
Yeah. But that's in their nature. That's in their being. And for us, like, I'm like torn on this concept because I really am a hopeless romantic as well, because like I want to find my partner,
of course.
And like, but then on the flip side, I'm like, you see these stats of like, this concept of marriage and monogamy and everything doesn't seem to be working that well. That's
the thing. It's like, it's been sold to us as the ideal, life, right? Yeah. It's been sold to us as the only way to live, essentially, because I mean, there's different sides that you can look at when it comes to like monogamy. There's the monogamy of aspect of like being married to someone forever. So that's one. First of all, like most people are not just like gonna get with one person and then marry them and be with them forever, right? Most people go through different partners. So that itself, I think, constitutes a non-monogamous nature in us, right? The fact that we go through different partners. But I mean, we could say that we're just looking for the right one. Yeah. But then on the
I've been through a few partners.
Have you, Daniel? Just a few. But then also, there's also that concept of, are we even monogamous? Like, as in, can we even have one partner at once? Yeah. Right. So there's that question, which is an even more kind of controversial question, because if you look at the statistics on how many people cheat, there's a lot of people that cheat.
So many people.
And we as a society, we like to demonize people that cheat. And I'm not necessarily saying it's a good thing, obviously. Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying it's a good thing to cheat. Yeah. But why is it happening on such a large scale? Yeah. And are these all really bad people, or is it just that society's expectations are unrealistic on human beings?
Yeah. It's almost like in a kind of way, this is going to be a really weird parallel, but the way that we've constructed or the way our society is shifting even now is against our innate human nature. And what I'm meaning by that is, for example, the idea of starting a family, getting, having children and everything else, you're supposed to do that when you're financially stable, when you've been with your partner for a while, which generally nowadays doesn't happen until you're older, which is actually the riskiest time for people to be having babies. Yeah. So it's against our nature, where actually, which is crazy, but like in our like young teens and early 20s is the best time to have kids. Yeah. For our bodies, for like women's bodies. Physically. Yeah.
For the best offspring.
Exactly. Because as soon as you hit like into your 30s and over 35, the risks of complications in pregnancy is super, super high. But that's the way our society is shifting, is to have children and families later. So it's almost like against what our human nature is
it's interesting.
Is designed for. But
we're not arguing that just because something is natural doesn't, like, that means it's good. Like, that's not my argument. And that's usually my argument when it comes to because like people like to make it's natural, so it's good, right? And that's called like appeal to nature fallacy, which is basically like, oh, this thing is natural, therefore it must be good. But that's not true, because and my argument is, I mean, it's natural for us to have babies when we're 13 years old.
Doesn't mean we should.
That doesn't mean it's a good thing.
Exactly. And I'm also, I agree with that. Like in a sense, I'm just saying it's interesting how our society, we're shifting in this way. And when it comes to like cheating, for example, that's a very specific kind of argument, but what I say about cheating is the act itself. Maybe that's within our nature and everything. But the reason why I think it's demonized and is looked on so negatively is because it's not the actual, I mean, it is the act of itself, but the issue with cheating is like, you have made a promise to somebody, right? You've made a commitment to that person. If you didn't have that commitment, then obviously the cheating wouldn't be such a big deal, but like you've made that promise to somebody and you've broken that basically. So I think that's why.
It's but also I would also argue, like, I get that completely, but at the same time, it's because you're kind of forced to make that promise with somebody because of the societal expectations of monogamy.
That's true.
So because even though a lot of people, and again, some people are great with monogamy, but a lot of people are not. But even though everyone's different in that way, you're all expected to have a monogamous relationship. That's the default. So when you're with somebody, even if your nature might not be monogamous, you're kind of forced into that kind of relationship dynamic.
That's a very good point.
So then you're kind of forced into that kind of, promise to somebody.
Because I mean, even though nowadays there are kind of different permutations and combinations of relationships,
it's still a very small fringe.
Percentage, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So like if you happen to be one of those individuals that, doesn't believe in or has a hard time with monogamy and all that kind of stuff, you're right. That's the default. If you meet someone that you really like and you want to be with them, the default is you're expected to be monogamous.
Yes.
Even
unless you found the alternate route, which not many people have.
Exactly. Where there's somebody that you can actually, be more open and have those kind of, I guess, experiences. One thing, speaking of that, actually, I did listen to one of the episodes of the Dan SaVeg podcast. Yeah. It's quite good, guys.
I've been telling Daniel to listen to it for so long.
Yeah.
They talk about everything. It is so good.
Everything and anything. Like, you wouldn't believe it. So they were talking about kinks. Right. And this one woman, she was like really happy with her husband. They were together and he happened to have like an extreme, like, BDSM, like slave and master kind of thing that he really liked, and he was like getting it online with like cam girls, like he was like paying them money, and they were like, and she wasn't necessarily not okay with she wasn't like not okay with it, but she was like, it makes her a little bit uncomfortable and she wasn't sure what to do about it. And he was like, you know what, to be honest, he's like, your guys' sexual relationship is great. You guys are, with, each other. And he's like, you have to remember that people that have these like kinks, it's not something that they can just switch off. This is something that they've had their like probably their whole life.
Right.
And if you can't fulfill that kink for that person, they're not going to stop thinking about that kink. So is it so wrong for them to get it from somewhere else, but still be with you and you as a person, but you don't necessarily satisfy that particular kink for them? There's so much stuff, guys. Like, honestly.
Well, I find that interesting because one of the things that Dan SaVeg says is, which I found really profound and interesting, is that you can't expect one person. So society, again, society expects one person to give you everything, right?
Because you're going to find the one.
Yeah, you're going to find the one.
Who
this is your better half.
Yeah,
somebody that completes you. This is your other half. As in, you just need that one person, that your soulmate. You just need that one person. And if you don't find them, then you're a fucking loser and you suck.
I feel like you're speaking to me, Rose.
No. But, and then so if you don't find everything you want in that other person, and this could be like so many different, reasons why we believe this now. It's because of Hollywood and, the concept of romanticism that came out, which is pretty recent, by the way. Like before people just married because of convenience or because of family, relations. And so people getting married for love is also a very new concept. And so what Dan SaVeg says, which I completely agree with, but also it's hard to kind of rewire your brain, is like, you can't expect your significant other, even if you are in a monogamous relationship, you can't really expect them to give you everything that you want, right? You get little things from different people. You have your friends and family. And I don't expect one friend to have all the qualities that I look for in a friend. So why do we look for that?
Except for me.
Except for you, Daniel. You got all the qualities that I look for.
Oh, God damn.
So why do we look for that one person in a romantic relationship to give us everything,
to fulfill every single thing?
And if they don't, then he's just not the one.
He's not the one. Yeah.
Even though we both do that same
yeah,
mind
we do.
game.
We're both both culprits of that game.
But I mean, logically speaking, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
right?
that's so true. It's just interesting to see where we've gotten with society, and like it's hard because you're right. It's like it's about like our brains are like hardwired.
Yeah.
Just from growing up, the media exposure that we've had, everything else. It's like because like I'm like a hopeless romantic. You know what I mean? Like I'm like very much like, oh, I can't wait to meet that one person. Like blah 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 blah. Like probably why I'm still single. Living in my own little Disney fantasy world. Where's my Prince Charming, guys? Where is
Daniel? We gonna find you. You're Prince Charming.
God damn. I mean, 50% of chances I'm going to end up divorced anyway. So, next thing I know, I'm going to be 65, entering the dating world again.
I wonder what the stats are for gay couples, though. It might be a bit different.
Yeah, it could be. I have no idea. Probably. I would imagine, and I could be off on a limb here, guys.
What's your guess? Is it lower or higher?
I would imagine it being lower.
Me too.
Only because initially, like maybe not now, but like it was initially really difficult for people to get married that were of same sex. And also I feel like it takes them longer to be together before they get married. I don't think like gay couples rush into marriage.
You think so? Why?
Yeah.
Why do you think that?
Multiple
reasons?
Many reasons. Like, for example, you could have got together with someone, you still need to come out to each other's families, or, what I mean?
Okay, interesting.
It might be a longer process, right?
Right. There's a lot more, there's more hurdles.
Exactly. So I think...
And there's no rush of a baby.
Exactly. And there's no like time clock or...
A lot of straight couples get married after getting pregnant,
This is true. Shotgun wedding, right?
Yeah.
Is that what it's called?
I think so. None of that happens in the gay world.
No, definitely not. So I think and that would just be my guess. I don't know, guys. I haven't seen the stats.
I do think you're probably right. My guess is also that it would be lower. I think there's probably a few reasons. Yeah. One of them, from my guess, one of the reasons could be that there's fewer fish in the sea,
That's very accurate. Oh, God damn. There is a drought. There is like a little fish pond with one goldfish in there, and it's me.
You gotta move to San Francisco.
Apparently. Well, I don't know.
That'd be gay heaven.
Yeah, apparently. God damn. Whereas I just gotta find the one. That's it.
You just gotta find the one, Daniel, who completes you.
And then maybe after 27 years.
Oh my God. Honestly, this kind of story makes me so sad.
Yeah,
but then it's just constant proof. It's so funny because I see this kind of stuff all the time, right? And I'm more and more convinced that marriage is just a failing institution.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I've been so brainwashed. So I still want to get married. I still think that I want to get married.
Yeah. I think I want to get married too. Even though we see
how much of a failure this institution is.
We see that like the chances of it happening or the chance of it succeeding are, but there are success stories, obviously, but like...
Yeah, for sure. I mean, our parents are all still together.
Yeah.
Through thick and thin, I'm sure.
Oh, God damn, yeah. Maybe there was times they were getting close when they were like,
like there's difficult... Like, obviously, no marriage is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I find it interesting. I just find... Like, what were they going through? It's been 27 years.
I know. But like you said, they could...
I wish I could speak to them and just find out more information. I know it's their private lives.
Yeah.
They can share whatever they want. But I just want to know the psychology. I'm sure there's information out there from other couples that have divorced.
Oh, definitely. There's probably papers done on it and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's got to be reasons. And I think maybe... like you said, maybe they'd been together for, a while and they've been wanting to get divorced for a while, but because of the societal pressures, the foundation that they created.
And the fact that they're Bill Gates and Melinda Gates.
Exactly. Because like imagine if you're a celebrity couple as well. Like, because I would consider them like celebrities basically in their own right.
Oh, yeah,
like,
yeah.
Everybody knows them.
They're like greater than celebrities.
Exactly. So like if you're in the limelight and people know who you are, I feel like there's an added pressure on your relationship.
Right.
Right. So like even if you're not doing well, you're like, we can't split up because, and it gets even more complicated when they have like, a job together or foundations. You see this a lot with like, and I'm not comparing like, those YouTube relationship channels and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Where they're mixing, like couples will have a relationship channel and it's like, they might be broken up or they might be close to breaking up, but they have this channel that they make money on together.
Yeah.
And the whole premise of their channel is their relationship.
Yeah. And they have to also make an announcement. Just how awkward is that?
So awkward.
Like, it's already awkward enough to make an announcement to your family and friends about getting divorced.
Like, exactly.
But then it's like announcement to the entire world.
And imagine how they would feel as well.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I would just, you already like, because there's a lot of shame as well brought with when you have a divorce. Because they're like, oh, you're a failure. You failed.
Your relationship failed.
Exactly.
Which is not true, right?
Exactly.
Like,
what's
that's
wrong
another
with you?
thing. It's like if your relationship doesn't end in you both like dead at while you're married.
Yeah.
As in like you don't break up. If your relationship breaks up at any point, it's a failure.
See, whereas I think we need to change our mindset on this, because I was kind of like thinking this as well. It's like, you know, just because you've been with someone, if you've been with someone for 27 years and you get divorced, it's not like, oh, wow, okay, that person, their relationship failed.
I just wasted 27 years of my life. But it's not like that.
No, like think of all the stuff that they learned as being together, that like that would have been a growth for them as well. So it's like hard to say. Like, I mean, we were saying about how marriages fail, like they're, you know, 50% end in divorce, but I think that says something more about the institution than the actual
that's the thing.
Together.
It's like if anything else in society had a 50% failure rate, most people wouldn't, you know, be too trustworthy of that system.
This is so funny because like imagine they're like, oh, by the way, we have this great investment. If you put all your money in here, there's a 50% chance that your money will double.
Right.
But there's a 50% chance you'll lose it all.
Yeah.
What do you think? You want to invest?
I think I want to go.
Yeah, put it all in.
Put
everything
all in.
Well,
that's kind of what people, it is a gamble. But
exactly.
I think another problem is that people always think that they're the exception.
Yeah.
They always think that they're the exception. They're not the rule. And they're going to make it because they're in love, and everyone else failed because they're not really in love. And they always think they're the exception.
Yeah. I'm guilty.
You think you're the exception?
I'm guilty of that as well.
Are you the exception?
Nothing right now, Rose.
Daniel, have you not seen the movie He's Just Not That Into You? You were never the exception. You were the rule.
No, but I am the exception.
You're exceptionally deluded.
I know. Doesn't she become the exception in the end, Rose?
That's why the movie's... Okay, you know what? Let me rant about that fucking movie for a second. So I
love that movie, by the way.
I know, I actually like it too. It's one of my guilty pleasure movies. Didn't you watch that movie Binging on McDonald's one year?
I did, yeah. One time I was having
was it Valentine's Day?
I think it was Valentine's Day, guys. Okay, here, I'm going to tell you guys a sad story about my life, okay? And my life's not sad enough already.
Your life is not sad.
I know. I'm just kidding. I laugh about this, guys, because it was like more funny than anything. But I remember it was when I was in uni. I think I was like second year uni or something. And it was Valentine's.
That movie is old.
Yeah. It was like Valentine's Day. And I was like, obviously, you know, single once again on Valentine's Day, and I was like, fuck my life. And I was like, I'm just gonna watch a movie. I ended up ordering McDonald's. So I went to McDonald's, got like so much McDonald's, like it was ridiculous. Like I got like 2 meals.
You really are an emotional eater, aren't you?
I am, yeah. And then I was like watching this movie, He's Just Not That Into You, and there's parts where I was like crying, and then I was like stuffing my face in McDonald's. And then after the movie finished, I was like, I've hit rock bottom. Like I was like, here I am by myself crying on Valentine's Day, eating McDonald's, watching He's Just Not That Into You. God.
Was there a guy you were crushing on at the time?
Probably. When is there not a guy I'm crushing on, Rose?
Well, the thing is, even Valentine's Day is just a social construct.
No,
okay?
I know.
It's just a made up day to sell chocolates and fucking flowers. Okay. So we don't need no man.
Exactly. I'm gonna tell my boyfriend, whoever is the unfortunate soul, an unfortunate soul that ends up with me. No, I'm just kidding, guys. But I would rather just like have some like a different day that's special to us, you know, just us.
Oh, so you're not gonna celebrate Valentine's Day? Is that what you're saying?
Probably I will.
There's no way you're gonna get a boyfriend and not celebrate Valentine's Day.
Well, I would hope that my boyfriend's gonna be really sweet and he's just gonna surprise me on Valentine's Day.
Okay, Daniel, we just had a whole conversation about how monogamy is not real.
Yeah, that's very true, guys.
No, but yeah, it's interesting.
Well, interesting to hear your guys' thoughts on this around monogamy. This divorce. Were you shocked? Were you surprised?
God, I was shocked.
I know. I think anytime. I think the shocking factor of this news is not necessarily the divorce. It's just how long they've been together.
I think so. Yes.
I think anytime you have a relationship that's like probably over like 15 years.
Yeah.
Once those people start getting divorced, you're just like, holy shit.
There's no hope for us.
Exactly. You're like, oh my God. Like, you know, like it does become more shocking. Like if they'd been together for like 3 years and then they called a divorce, like no one would be that shocked. Yeah. People are like, oh, okay, cool, like 3 years, but 27 years.
27 years.
That's a lifetime.
That is literally a lifetime. It's actually shocking.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah.
So,
and like, oh yeah, it's just crazy. The crazy part is also like, I'm sure they're the only ones that understand what each other like is going through, or like, you know, because like they're just like, again, they're not normal humans. I mean, they are humans, but they're not
yeah,
normal
yeah.
humans. You know what I mean?
They've done a lot of good. They've done a lot of interesting stuff.
Well, they're very controversial. You know that?
Yeah, I do know that.
Like, people either love them or hate them.
Yeah.
And I don't actually know the full details to have an opinion. Because, like, I've seen, obviously, they have the foundations and they have, I don't know, they have all this other stuff they do. But I don't know.
Yeah. Was it you, Rose, that famous quote of yours that you were that you heard somewhere that was like, I don't believe that anyone can become a billionaire without any form of exploitation?
I think I did say something like that.
Yeah.
But
So,
maybe.
Who knows?
But then when you see them talking, I'm like, they seem like good people. But who knows? You know, maybe it's all the pressure of COVID and how Bill Gates literally got blamed for everything.
Oh, yeah.
Which is crazy.
Like people, okay, this is crazy, guys. People thought, I mean, you guys have probably heard this.
They still think.
I know. Yeah, people still think. I mean, oh my God, yesterday, just chilling in my house, relaxing, and all of a sudden I hear all this fucking commotion, like something crazy is going on. I look out my window and there was like a protest, an anti-mask protest going down my street. And I was just like, oh my God. And there would be the same people that are like, by the way, guys, Bill Gates is going to inject us with chips because he wants to track us. He wants to track our behavior. And another good one too is like how people are like, oh, the government, this is all the governments want this to happen. Like they want to be in lockdown. They want to take away our rights. And I'm like, okay, let's just take look at one specific thing, which let's hit what am I trying to say? What impacts everyone is money, right? Like that's how the world runs, whatever else. And right now, governments are bleeding money.
Yeah.
They're giving out like, at least the Canadian government, I don't know about other governments,
Yeah.
but like giving out like work support, small business support,
yeah.
relief, all this kind of stuff. And they're getting a lot less tax dollars because there's so many more people that are unemployed and whatever else. So like
we have a huge deficit, whatever that means.
Exactly. So
what is the benefit?
Exactly. So all these people that are like, oh, well, this is the government. They really, you like analyze these people and analyze the institution that is the government. What benefit does it have to have us all in lockdown? Like
they're trying to control us by making us wear a mask.
And that's why they're and in doing that, they're also spending billions upon billions giving us relief so that the people that are unemployed can have fucking money.
I don't understand. How is wearing a mask controlling us?
I don't know.
Anyways, people are crazy.
I know that shit be crazy, guys. I get a little bit passionate about it because it frustrates me because of if you just logically think about what motivates people and what would motivate the government, for example.
Yeah.
Like, for example, if the government right now was making billions in tax revenue and it was like really positive for them, I would say, oh, okay, maybe this could be a government conspiracy.
Yeah.
But they're not. They're like bleeding money. That's why I'm like.
And also, like, it's not just Canadian government or American government.
Yeah.
It's the entire world that this COVID thing is happening
Exactly.
to. So are you really like we literally cannot get the different countries to agree on anything?
I know.
So are you really saying that the powers of all of these different governments around the world, over 200 nations maybe?
Yeah.
They all got together and decided, hey, let's release this fucking virus.
Exactly. and even think wider than that is like the economies of a lot of countries now have been like halted because of,
it's
international,
bad.
International trade, gas prices, everything. Like everything's been like impacted in some way because of this. And generally, other than a few like technology companies, maybe like Amazon, Google's, those kind of things, most companies have been negatively impacted. So like,
Bill Gates be owning technologies.
Oh, goddamn, that's true. So he'd be benefiting.
I still can't believe they're divorced.
I know, it's crazy. Okay, so our next story, bit of a positive one.
Ooh.
So we talked about this in a previous podcast. We talked about Singapore. Have you heard about this, by the way?
Well, okay. To be fair, they always talk about this fucking thing. When is it coming, bitch?
I know, this is the thing. Okay, so guys.
Okay, read the title.
Okay, it's called Cell Cultured Meat Could Hit Grocery Stores in the Next 5 Years, predicts an expert. Dr. Simon.
I swear they've been saying that for the last 5 years.
I know, Dr. Simon Somogi. I can't say his last name. Somogi?
Oh, okay, whatever.
Says cell cultured seafood could debut in realtors within the next 10 years.
Ooh, come on, guys. We made a COVID fucking vaccine in a year. We can do this faster. Come on.
I know. You know, it's funny because this has been being talked about for a while. Because I remember.
For a long time. Since we were in London. Because
I remember when we were in London, which was so we were in London 2015. And then the first 6 months of 2016. Right?
Yes.
And I remember we used to go to these vegan events and stuff. And like, I remember it was like talked about like, ooh, potentially cell grown meat, blah, 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 blah. Haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
Finally, the Singapore opens up and said like they're going to start
I
selling.
wonder how that one's doing.
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Oh, god damn.
We'll have to do a follow-up, guys, to see, because I think Singapore was cell-grown chicken, like chicken nuggets.
It was the first. I think Singapore was the first country to approve the sale of the cell-grown chicken. Yes, I think it was cell-grown chicken.
So, I mean, it's an interesting one. Like,
so in the next 5 years, it could hit the shelves.
Mm-hmm. Which I think could be. I mean, I hope it's sooner.
Yeah. Do you think it'd be a game changer?
100% it will.
Yeah.
I think it could be huge. I mean, look at like, I even feel like some of these like.
Will it be cheaper?
Well, it's supposed to be. I think there was more.
It should be. Like, it makes logical sense for it to be cheaper after at least a little bit of time.
Yeah.
In the beginning, I'm sure it'll be expensive.
Yeah, it will be.
But
until there's more, this is the thing.
They need to mass produce it, right?
Exactly. Well, not only that, but there also needs to be competition. Right. So like you
right.
can't have a niche. So it's like, for example, alternative. I look at like hamburgers. I think is like vegan burgers is a perfect example. You have Beyond Burger that came in, is dominating. It's quite expensive actually to buy a Beyond Burger, way more expensive than a beef burger.
Right.
Which is in itself is crazy. But now you're starting to get more and more competitors coming into the market. So as that happens, what's naturally going to happen is the prices are going to have to get competitive. Right. So I feel like with this lab grown meat, number one, it's going to have to be competitively priced with meat products.
Yeah.
And in order to do that, it has to be like more mass produced, or there has to be like some economies of scale. And then also there has to be competition within the space.
Yes.
Because if there's no...
Which is going to take some time, I
exactly.
think.
If there's only one company that's growing this lab-grown meat...
They can monopolize the
exactly.
market.
And if they know that certain people are going to buy it and they can charge a premium, then they will, right? Like that's just the nature of capitalism.
God damn.
The world that we all unfortunately have to operate in.
So you going to eat the cell-grown meat?
I think I would try it.
Oh, God damn.
I might. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm on the fence because like I haven't had meat for...
Since 2015, right?
2015, yeah.
It's been 6 years, Daniel.
Goddamn, 6 years and no meat's entered this mouth.
Well.
Rose! Oh my God.
Come on, you were asking for that one.
I was walking right into that one. I think I might have to cut that part out of the podcast, guys.
You can't cut it out.
A bit inappropriate there.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't eat the meat. I don't think I could even, I don't think I could stomach it.
No.
But if it was like fish,
as
I said, I think I would try the lab grown fish.
Yeah. I think it's just really, really, depending, the thing I want to find out about this like lab grown stuff, because one of my reasons for like going vegan and, you know, following more of a plant-based lifestyle is the fact that, you know, the environmental strain that animal agriculture puts on the environment. So I would be interested to find out what the impact of cell-grown meat would be.
I think it's a lot less. I think that's definitely one of the reasons obviously it's the animal rights aspect, but also a big reason is the environmental aspect.
Yeah.
Because I think in the beginning when they first talked about it, they were talking very heavily about the environmental benefit of cell-grown meat. Because I mean, even if just logically thinking about the number of animals it takes, you know, the number of animals we keep in the, you know, factory farms, and just their farts alone makes such a huge impact on our environment.
It's crazy.
Like literally. And also the amount of food it takes to grow that meat, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like you have to feed the fucking cows and
it's
chickens
very
and
resource
pigs.
intensive.
Exactly.
Like meat is very resource
Exactly.
intensive. That's why I always think it's funny when we do get that argument though, that people are like, oh, well, you know, it would be a lot of resources to grow plants and stuff. And it's like, well, it's a fraction of the resources that you need to grow animals, to be completely honest. Like,
and what are you feeding the cows?
Exactly.
Air? You're feeding the cows plants too.
Exactly. Ugh. So it will be interesting. I'm really excited actually to see what progresses in this space. Part of the reason I'm excited is because if they do produce a product that is competitive in the market, that I could actually see a lot of people, because as people are becoming more and more environmentally concerned, I could see them switching, because people that maybe don't want to do vegan lifestyle, but they could switch to these meat products.
And if it's competitive pricing.
Exactly. That's the biggest thing.
It says this. Researchers have predicted a staggering 60% of the meat consumed in 2040, which is in less than 20 years. Oh God, will not come from dead animals. The report was published by global consultancy A.T. Kearney. It says 35% of meat will be cell cultured and 25% will be vegan alternatives. Oh, interesting. But
I mean, we're starting to see, I think we're starting to see positive shifts as well. Because I remember in the UK, I think it was in the UK, they were talking about, you know, like plant-based milks.
Right.
They were saying that these have really come in and changed the game in a sense that a lot of people that maybe aren't vegan and stuff, but like they want to cut back on the amount of dairy
For
they're
sure.
having, or the number of people that are lactose intolerant.
Yeah.
So they're switching to these alternatives. And you know, actually it's making waves in,
Oh,
in
for
the
sure.
industry.
I mean,
so,
I think the milk thing is probably going to be one of the first things to go.
yeah.
Because even like tons of people that eat meat, like left, right, and center, they still get like the almond milk lattes.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
I see
yeah.
it all the time.
Definitely.
And I very rarely see people getting, I mean, I'm sure there are lots of people still, but there's a ton of people getting non-dairy
way
milk
more,
stuff.
way more.
So that should be very interesting.
And you can even see it. Like I've noticed even in the last well, actually it's hard to say because I was in the UK before, but like even in the grocery stores, I feel like there's such a bigger section now where there's like more
plant-based
milks.
Yeah. I wonder if they could do this with like eggs.
That would
the
be interesting.
cell-grown stuff.
Well, I was reading another article that they have some kind of like liquid egg.
Just egg.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Have you had it?
It's like the vegan egg. No, I don't think they sell it in Canada yet.
Yeah.
But I've heard that it is coming out in Canada.
Yeah, I've
So
heard
I'm gonna
something
look
along
for
those.
it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's all over the US. Like a lot of people in the US have had it, and of course we don't get it until 5 fucking years later or something.
Well, and for those of you watching that are in other countries and stuff, Canada tends to be behind on everything. Like
vaccines.
Vaccines. There we go. Right away. There you go, guys. Also Netflix, anything like this. It's like our friends in like the UK will be like, "Oh, I watched this amazing show." And then we'll be like, really? What's it called? And then 4 years later, it will come up on Netflix. And be like, never guess what came up on Netflix. I watched this really cool show. And they're like, yeah, we watched it 4 years ago.
Yep.
And I think...
and especially with food stuff, I don't know why. Like, is NAFTA still a thing?
It is, yeah.
So why is it so difficult for us to get like some of the...
I think it's because, and I could be wrong, but I think it's because we are a much smaller market than the US. So I think a lot of companies that are marketing these products and stuff, they want to make it in the US first, see if it's a success, and then try to move to Canada. Because I mean, we're a tenth of the market, right?
God damn, Daniel, that'd be sad as hell.
I know. Like Mexico and the US are so much bigger markets than Canada.
True.
So,
but yeah, I heard that Just Egg is coming to Canada, so we'll see.
Yeah.
It is a lot more expensive than regular eggs.
Yeah, and that's what's frustrating.
I mean, I don't really miss eggs. I mean, but it'd be nice to have that option.
Yeah.
But like, I wonder if they could make. I mean, I feel like cell-grown eggs would be the easiest thing to make. No.
I don't know. I think because it has layers of complexity within the, I don't know, guys. I don't even know how they do this shit. It's fucking crazy. It's fucking crazy.
How the fuck did people do this shit?
Like,
see, sometimes like humanity never fails to amaze me.
Yeah.
Because I feel like on one hand, we're the dumbest fucking species on this planet.
Yeah.
And then on the other hand, we're making literal like fake meat out of cultures.
Exactly. This is what's crazy. It's like we're our own worst enemy in many ways. It's like we do have these amazing innovations and some like really incredible things that we make, but then on the flip side, I feel like
we can't get people to wear masks.
Yeah. I feel like humanity, like in general, and I'm guilty of it. I'm sure you're guilty of this. A lot of us, and I think it's just inherent in our like nature, is like we only really recognize what's going on in our immediate environment. So like things that are happening away from us, like out of sight, out of mind. You know what I mean? So we can hear about these like natural disasters and all of this stuff going on because of global warming and everything else, and people are hesitant to make change because it's not directly impacting them.
Yeah.
So it's I feel like that's like the dichotomy of like humanity.
Yeah.
But we're fucking growing cell culture.
I know.
Meat, apparently.
We're very smart. That's such an unfortunate thing. It's like we're so smart, yet we're so dumb. So we're just gonna like we're just gonna self-destruct at some point.
But does it give you a little bit of optimism in the fact that we can do this kind of stuff? So potentially, as things get worse, because they will. Sorry guys. But we might be able to innovate our way out of it.
I really want to think that, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Because this is just one small, it's not a small part.
Yeah.
The meat industry is definitely a huge part of the environmental destruction that we're doing.
Yeah.
But it is still one part. There's still so many other things that we're doing, and just so many people that just don't give a shit.
Yeah.
So it's like, and it's not even just regular people, but it's the people at top that don't give a shit. So it's like you have a certain small fringe group of people that do give a shit that's doing research like this.
Yeah.
But it's like we need more people like that. So I don't know. It does give me a little bit more hope, but who knows? Yeah,
it was like I remember in London they blocked off that there was a peaceful protest and they blocked off like some key bridges and they were blocked off for like a week or something. And it was like a movement for Oh my God. It was like climate change and stuff. It was like something to, they wanted the government to take action and whatever else.
Right.
And it was a very like fringe group of individuals,
Yes.
like very like hippie and like whatever else.
Yeah.
And everyone at the office was like commenting about it because it blocked the bridge of how we get to
Sure.
work.
So it made it very inconvenient.
Yeah. And everyone was talking about, they're like, oh, these people, blah, 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 blah. But like the messages that they're saying and stuff like made sense. Do you know what I mean? Like it wasn't like so crazy, but it is a fringe group. It isn't the people at the top that are, really advocates for change.
Yeah. And the problem also is like, I think back in the day, for example, like there's so many revolutions, right? There's like the French Revolution and, whatever other types of revolutions where, the common people, the commoners got together and were like, fuck the system, like fuck everything.
Yeah.
And they fought against it. But I feel like nowadays there's so many distractions and we're just busy trying to survive. And like we're, there's TikTok and Instagram and Facebook and just movies to watch, Netflix, games to play. So I feel like the chances that people are going to collectively come together and like actually have, a huge impact like that through something like a protest or even a revolution is much lower than I think back in the day.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's hard to say.
Yeah. I mean, I guess time will tell on this one.
Time will tell.
We'll see.
But sometimes I feel like there's just too many people on this fucking planet.
Yeah.
That's another problem.
There's a lot of us.
And then we be a growing old population.
I know.
Although we do have a COVID baby boom, I'm sure.
We will. I think
we definitely will have a
happen.
COVID boom.
Yeah. I feel like I know a few people that have gotten pregnant during this time.
In the last year, I think I've seen like 10 pregnancy announcements.
Yeah. So
when you gonna get pregnant, Daniels?
Well, I'll be trying, but it's just not working, guys.
Is there another story?
There sure is. I mean, this one's a little bit of a short story, but I wanted to talk about it.
Okay.
Well, it's not even. It's kind of like it's not a non-story.
It's a non-story, but it's a story, I guess.
And the reason I wanted to talk about it is because I wanted to plug our Patreon.
Ooh, yes.
And basically, guys, for our Patreon exclusive last month,
which was April.
April, yeah. We did an episode all about our thoughts around, body positivity, the healthy at every size kind of movement, and what we thought about this.
It was a very interesting discussion.
Yeah, more in depth than we're going to get right now because we're just going to kind of scratch the surface. But I just wanted to put that out there.
Yes.
But I guess
we had some controversial opinions potentially.
We did, yeah. So you guys we'll have to check out our Patreon.
Yes, check out our Patreon. By the way, it's only $3 a month. It's starting at $3 a month, and you get a bonus episode every single month, and you get each episode a week earlier than everybody else. So it's a lot more timely.
Yeah.
And you get to interact with us more. There's no ads.
Yeah.
We have the video forms with no ads.
Yeah.
And it's a good time. So join us on Patreon and you can get the exclusive episodes.
Yeah.
Go and listen to our April exclusive. It's juicy. We got some juicy episodes on
We
there
do.
too.
We have some really good ones, guys. Like
we don't hold back on our Patreon page.
So I suggest you check it out.
It's like our OnlyFans.
Exactly.
Except without the sexual stuff.
Without the nudity. But the reason this story came out, it's about Billie Eilish. And
is that how you say her name?
Or Eilish?
Billie Eilish.
Eilish.
Do you know her?
We're
so old.
We can never say. She's the one that sings that song.
Yeah, Bad Guy.
Yeah.
I
actually really like that song.
I love that song.
So I guess she posted. She was on the cover of Vogue in like a very revealing outfit and stuff.
Damn, girl.
Yeah, can you see it?
Yeah.
So
she looks good.
And she had like an interview. She was on British Vogue on Saturday wearing like an old Hollywood pinup attire instead of her typical like more baggy clothes. And the story is just basically about her opening up about beauty standards and her own struggle,
right?
With her own beauty image, with her own body image. Well,
and I think she also got in like some weird. God, the world is so terrible, especially to young women.
Yeah.
Like there was a picture of her that I think it was the paparazzi that took it. And I guess it wasn't the most flattering photo. And normally she's wearing like very baggy clothes.
Yeah.
So I guess she wasn't wearing the baggy clothes. And she looked fine. She was just, like a healthy girl.
Yeah.
And people were commenting that she was fat or whatever it was. It was just awful. And I'm like, hey, first of all, if you take any pictures of me in random angles, I'm going to look bad too.
Exactly. But this is the thing. This is one thing I really hate. And this is part of like when it's like a body positivity movement. I think it's in that regards, like being less critical of each other's bodies.
Yes.
That's a plus. That's
definitely a plus.
Because there's so many instances. Like there was some pictures of Selena Gomez that surfaced.
Oh, really?
That were like her in a bathing suit and like she looked fine. But
paparazzi are so awful.
Yeah, but the paparazzi were like, oh, she's gained weight and blah blah blah.
It's a magazine. It's a tabloids.
Yeah.
Man. Are they still doing that stuff?
I feel like it's gotten actually
a little better, but not really.
No.
Because no, I mean, think about like when we were in, like, I think when we were in our like junior high school times, it was probably the worst. That was like when paparazzi was like at its peak, when Britney Spears was like fucking, you know, and they were ruthless.
They were crazy. They were like, honestly, fucking crazy. Like to the point where it's like, they were like, obviously we've all seen it, but like following celebrities around, like taking these unflattering pictures. Like if we were celebrities right now, someone would be photographing us from across the park with like a wide angle lens or something.
The worst part was, I remember, because like, you know, when you are at the grocery store and you're waiting, and then there's always like magazines. I never bought magazines, but I would look at them either at the gym. The gyms used to have the magazines.
Yeah, I remember.
You know, before we had smartphones and shit.
Yeah.
Wow, those were the days. Or like when I'm waiting at the grocery store, and that's the only time I'd look at these like celebrity fucking magazines, and there would be just like page after page of like being like, who has the worst and best bikini body?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah. It's
That's
crazy.
the worst. And they were just taking pictures of these random celebrities in like doing their own thing. Like, you know, they're just trying to be on the beach by themselves.
So bad.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I guess she was not complaining. She was talking about her struggle, right?
Yeah. She basically was saying
Billy?
like,
she's young.
Yeah,
too.
she's only 19.
Damn, she's so young.
Yeah. So hang on, where does it say? Okay, for the photo shoot, Eilish traded her signature baggy clothes for old Hollywood pinup attire and Marilyn Monroe-esque golden curls. She's just 19 now, and was even younger when she said her loose outfits were intentionally chosen so that people could not see and comment on her body. She told Vogue that when she was younger, her body was the initial reason for my depression. It was something she has struggled with into adulthood as well. She said that last year when paparazzi photos caught her in form-fitting clothes, and the stir that it caused online was really, really frustrating. It made me really offended when people were like, God, look, good for her for feeling comfortable in her bigger skin.
Oh my God. It's like it's not even a compliment.
I know.
It's like a backhanded compliment.
And then she was just like, Jesus Christ, good for me. Fuck off. So that was the story. So I guess she just kind of opened up and you know, had this kind of like sexy, like Vogue cover and stuff. So yeah.
I mean, that's such a, it's so rude. Oh, good for you. You must be so proud that you can wear that and feel comfortable. Fuck you, bitch.
Exactly.
That's not even a fucking compliment. Go fuck yourself.
Such a backhanded compliment, you know? So anyway, I think
and like it's not like she's even somebody that like not that there's anything wrong with flaunting the body as well, but she doesn't even do that. She was just doing her own thing, fucking, you know, whatever, walking around, and of course people feel the need to like body shame her, and it's crazy.
But it's just like, it is the way the media, but it's like you can't win with the media, because it's like, if you show too much body, then you're like considered a slut, or like if you don't show any body, they're like, what are you hiding, or like, you know what I mean, or if you show body and you're a little bit bigger, then they're like, oh my God, you know, like they just jump on everything.
If you're a bit bigger, then they're like, good for you for being so brave.
Yeah, you're so brave for wearing that outfit. It's like, fuck yeah, I wasn't brave. I think I look good in this. That's why I wore it. It was nothing about bravery.
Can you imagine? Oh my God, can you imagine if you wore something and you thought like, oh, I look good, and then someone's like, you're so brave for wearing that. God damn, I slapped that bitch in the face.
Rose, by the way. No, I'm just kidding. But it's horrible. Like that's horrible. Like, oh, you're brave for doing. It's like, it's different if it was like something like you actually being brave. You know, I'm not being. I don't know what I'm trying to say.
Like it's not being like you're basically saying that you look like shit, but you're brave.
You're look at your
I'm glad you don't care.
You must have a really high confidence level, self-confidence. I'm really impressed with how much your self-confidence have grown to wear that outfit. Like it's horrible.
Like it's actually so bad.
Oh God.
I just can't imagine being so young and famous. I think it would be the worst.
I think it is the worst. I think, you know, we again like put this idea. When I was young, I wanted to be famous. Yeah. I think everybody does at some point. And you see like especially you see now like these YouTubers, TikTokers trying to like get their clout and get their 15 minutes or whatever. But I think, you know, it does something to you when you're that young, thrust into fame. That you know, like you were saying, you need time to develop your frontal cortex, right? Like you're part of your brain.
Is it called the prefrontal cortex?
I can't remember what it's called. I don't know. But I have heard about this before. And apparently that's
your brain is not fully developed.
Until you're about 25.
Apparently.
So, and again, if you're thrust into these situations and you don't have like a solid base of people around you, this is another issue as well, right? So like there's so many things, but you see time and time again, people that were really young, thrown into the limelight, having serious issues later on.
Yeah.
So God dang.
God damn, fame don't want you.
I would I always say this now. Like when I was younger, I was like, I want to be famous and I want to blah blah blah. But now I'm like, I won't take the fame, but I'll take the money.
Daniel, more money, more problems.
I know that's true, but also more money, more
vacations.
Yeah. So I think
more money, more food.
Yeah.
More money, more time, but not really.
more money and new couch. I actually really like my couch. It's growing on me.
You know what? It could be bigger.
It's cozy though, isn't it? How nice would it be to watch a movie here, you know?
It's fine when you're sitting.
Yeah.
But I like to lay down on the couch as well.
Okay.
Sometimes not by myself.
Oh, God damn, Rose.
Anyways, is there another story?
There was one last one. It's again another like non-story.
Okay, we ain't got much time. I gotta go.
I know. So this one's a really quick one. The only reason I brought this one up is it's like kind of a follow-up. So you know how we were
Right. We're talking about the Jeff Wittick and the David Dobrik situation.
Yes.
So the YouTubers that are famous and David Dobrik now infamous.
Yes.
And Jeff Wittick basically, okay, I'll give you a little summary in case you guys didn't listen to our last episode.
Yeah, you give the
Jeff
summary.
Wittick was is also a big YouTuber, and I guess he got into a big accident.
Yeah.
Where David Dobrik was driving, what is it called? An
No, it was excavator.
Excavator.
Like a big thing with like a thing on the end.
Yes.
Like a crane
So he
almost.
decided to do a YouTube like video where
Yeah.
he was filming his friends on this thing, and then Jeff Wittick hurt his face basically and almost died.
I mean, he's still pretty hot.
I told you he's hot.
I know, he's a good looking
Okay,
man.
but what happened with him?
So this is just like a follow up to this. So apparently, like he's recently he opened up a Patreon account.
So you can show the uncensored
Exactly,
videos.
and he's done like a little docu-series. He got 37,000 supporters in 10 days.
God damn, he'd be rolling in the dough.
That's insane.
Yeah, that's at least 2.2 million in annual revenue.
Fuck me, like that's just incredible.
But he was already a pretty big YouTuber, I think.
Yeah.
But what was the kind of conclusion from this? Is it David Dobrik's fault? Is it like, I know everyone's blaming David Dobrik, which I mean, I do blame him as well.
Yeah.
But also, like we discussed in the last episode, I do think, everyone, if you're gonna be a 30-something-year-old man, no matter how good looking you may be,
Yeah.
and I still ain't blaming you if you want to give me a call. I mean, if you're going to be, a 30-something-year-old man and you're going to voluntarily go on
Well, this is it.
a machine that your friend who's an idiot
Is driving.
and he doesn't know what he's doing, and
Shame
you've
on
just
you.
seen your other friend go on it, and
Yeah.
she was obviously having some issues.
Yeah.
You might, it's kind of a collective responsibility.
Exactly. It's like every time I get into the vehicle with you, Rose.
God damn. That means you ain't going to sue me if I get you in an accident.
Because, I've seen Rose
Yeah.
drive, so I just know that, I know the risks that I'm taking
Yes.
when I get into the vehicle.
That's the thing. If you get into a vehicle with your friend who is clearly intoxicated, let's say.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. It's both your fault. It's obviously there's more fault on the driver.
Yeah.
If you are an intoxicated driver. But you as an individual also, you have to have some sort of responsibility for yourself as well. But anyways, I don't know what happened. So obviously this guy's obviously making a lot of money. People love this guy.
Yeah, apparently.
Because apparently I haven't seen the docuseries, so maybe there's something that we're missing where
Yeah.
he's like the angel and David's the devil.
Yeah.
But I really do. I find the whole internet dynamic to be very interesting because, like I mentioned in the last time we talked about this, I just feel like right now is the time when everybody hates David.
Yeah.
So everything that he does, it's his fault.
Yeah.
Anything that comes out with his name on it, it's his fault. Everything he does is psychopathic, sociopathic, fucking evil.
Yeah.
And it's so funny how that's just completely twisted once you get like a bad name for yourself.
Exactly. Well, I'm trying to think, like if somebody something bad, they're doing something bad, and then you hear about other friends having conflicts with that person, you're automatically going to be like, you have a predisposed,
Right.
I can't even speak, predisposed position.
Yep,
Is that
something
right?
like that.
Yeah, I don't even know what I'm saying.
There's a term.
Guys.
Yeah.
I swear I did not have any drinks. I think it's just from running. I was like flustered or whatever.
Okay,
but,
Daniel, it's been a while since you've been running. You can't blame the running no more.
But yeah, you already have like an idea in your mind of this person, right? Like if I got into a massive fight with somebody, and this person, let's say John, got into a massive fight with another one of your friends, and your friend told you about it, you're automatically gonna be like, this John's a dick. Yeah. Even though you might not know the full extent of what happened in each situation. So Anyway.
So I mean, I'm not saying David is innocent or good or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I just find that to be funny where, it doesn't seem like many people are saying like, Jeff, maybe you shouldn't have done this. You know, like they're completely blaming David.
Like, going in on him.
Yeah, because they're saying, oh, David. I've heard people commenting on this. Again, I haven't seen the docuseries, but they're saying like, oh, David didn't even visit him at the hospital, or like they didn't even talk after like almost killing his friend. And I'm like, hey guys, I get it. Like he was driving it, but also his friend went on it, knowing that he was driving it.
And like, let's be honest here, guys. I'm not like saying that David shouldn't have visited him in the hospital, but like, again, you have to remember that these YouTube friends,
right?
Are they really even friends?
Are they even friends?
Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
A lot of these people that are part of these like friendship groups and whatever else, a lot of it's just for YouTube.
Exactly.
Like, they're just like, after the YouTube video's done, they're just like, okay, see you, and like go off in their own way. So
maybe we should watch the series and see what's going on.
Should we
look at that pretty face
and look at that pretty body?
God damn. He's 31. He's around our age.
That's perfect. See, why can't I meet guys like that?
He's a very good looking man.
You know.
He's a very good looking man.
Anyway, guys, we'll leave you on that. I think you should Google Jeff's picture so you know who we're talking about.
Jeff Wittig.
Yeah.
Feel free to slide into my DMs, Jeff.
Damn, you're shouting out to him. Well, we are in the top 50% of podcasts, so he might be listening to this one, Rose.
Oh God, I'm dying.
But as always, guys, thanks so much for tuning in to this week's episode. If you aren't already, please follow us on whatever podcast platform you are listening to them on.
Follow us on Patreon. Join our Patreon.
Yeah.
Guys, we need to beat this Jeff character.
I know.
He has 37,000 supporters in 10 days.
God
That's
damn.
$2.2 million in annual revenue. Come on, let's get us to 37,000.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we have to smash our face in for this to happen?
We do.
Do you want to drive something, Danny? Do you want to smash my face in?
God damn, I thought you would be the driver.
That's right. I can't ruin this beautiful face.
Exactly.
This be a money maker.
That's true. But yeah, check out our Patreon, guys. Patreon.com/The SaVeg Podcast. And if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to smash that like button.
Smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm.
Yeah. And hit subscribe if you aren't already. And show us some love in the comments section. Let us know what you thought about the episode.
Are you monogamous? Do you believe in monogamy?
Do you believe in monogamy, guys? Like it's a good question. It's a legitimate question.
Yes.
So enjoy the rest of your week, guys, and we will see you next week.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.